Dude, she wants to be claimed. She wants to be owned. She actually wants to do things that a part of her has wanted to do in the past that she's said she's never wanted to do. Women actually want to be possessed. Possessed. That's what I said. Yeah, I didn't stutter. Possessed. Owned. Claimed. Know that she's yours. That you own her soul, her heart, her body, everything. It's super not politically correct. You're not supposed to say it on the internet, or it comes off as some goofy, gross, red pill, cheesy thing. Or on the other extreme, it can be like the new age spiritual guise of she just needs to do some other thing or be strong or independent. No. She wants to be claimed. But there's a caveat. If you are in your machista or your fake masculine or your egoic masculine or confusing trusting your leadership, her trusting your leadership to let go and go, oh, finally, this guy can drive. I can sit in the passenger seat and look out at butterflies and mountains. That she's actually surrendering to you. That's very different than if she's going to submit to you and you kind of just tell her what to do. Like she can't think for herself. She wants to let go. The difference is in submission, that can oftentimes be without a real connection. So she's not really claimed. She's kind of going with it because life circumstances. But the key difference is to have this deep, profound connection. And connection on its own doesn't really work. She has to feel incredibly safe on so many different levels. Not so many, but a few. I just did this meditation earlier. It fucking got me. So we're going in on this video. I'll tell you more about that later. Open loop. She wants to be claimed, but first she needs to be safe. She needs to feel safe, rather. As a guy, we don't understand, and the truth is, even if we understand it, we're never really going to appreciate the female experience and their relationship with safety. And let's start with the most basic, true one. Because there's emotional safety, which is what women really, really are craving. But on a very primal physical level, there's that physical safety. I'm in Milwaukee right now. When I talk to men, women, couples in, let's say, the US and Canada, these are quote unquote safer societies. People go, you live in Colombia? Oh my gosh, this happens. Statistically, it is more dangerous. Where I live, I've seen virtually nothing in 9 years, but it is more dangerous. I was talking to my friend not that long ago, and she's at Whole Foods or something, and the guy's pushing his cart, or he's walking to his car, and she's walking to her car at the same time, and it kind of like startles her. Women carry, on a very physical, primal level, a totally different connection and relationship with the safety, how they feel in their body. If you have a 150-pound man and a 150-pound woman, and they're both 5'6", with rare exception, that man is still significantly stronger than her and can overpower her. So with women's empowerment and independence and all these things, and a lot of that's necessary, or it's very important, not just necessary, but important, and sometimes you can see the shadow of it. Women still have a totally different relationship with their physical safety. It's something that women think about, I wouldn't say constantly, but weekly, if not daily. And as guys, let's put it in a different context where it's somewhat relatable. I'm a 5'7" tall white guy. If someone that looks like me is in prison, and there's a bunch of, you can pick the race, Latino dudes, black dudes that are 6'2", 6'5", I'm in trouble, or someone my size is in trouble. Is not good. I'm physically outnumbered and physically much smaller. As men, we don't think about our physical safety. If we were in prison in such a scenario where you're the wrong color and the wrong size, rules of the game change very fast. We're just going to talk about more so that one flavor of safety today, the physical safety, because a woman, she wants to know she's safe. She needs to know she's safe. But also it's more than that. She needs to know she's really safe. I don't know, my S's aren't working tonight or something. That meditation got me. That she's safe, but that she's claimed, that she knows this guy's not going anywhere. And if you're the kind of guy like I've been in the past, and maybe I will be in the future, I'm sure at some point under stress, if you, not to say you're anxious, because that's quite a disempowering identity, like, oh, I'm the anxious one in the relationship. Hello, nice to meet you. But rather under stress, your shadow, your coping mechanism you can be the one who shows up anxious. So by default, you will then attract someone who shows up more avoidant. That being the case, you're still watching this, those women can oftentimes push the guy away. And sometimes it's very important to give the woman space, depending how much space that is. And sometimes women are they're conflicted. And as guys, we are too. But a woman can say, I don't know if I want to stay with you. I need to not talk to you for 2 weeks. And a guy can go, okay, I read this book. I want to support her boundaries and honor her. And she can mean that. Part of her can. And she wants to see if he can do it. And that could be a test. It could be a test in a couple different ways. One of the most fascinating things about life, and all of you know this without me saying it, we all have parts. You can go, part of me wants a relationship, part of me doesn't. Part of me wants my comfortable job, part of me wants to start a business. So when a woman, who you could call or classify the avoidant one, says she needs space, she probably does. At least part of her does. And another part of her wants to say, come here. Honey, I love you. And she'll say, fuck you, stupid asshole, you bastard, how could you? Go, baby, I love you. And you're there, and she tells you what a piece of shit you are. And if you're not trained well, you're taking that literally, and you don't know that she has years of her own personal life of pain and trauma with men. And if you want to go even deeper into our DNA, there's hundreds, thousands of years of sexual abuse, violence, rape, murder, that's inside of her on some level. So when she says, I can't trust these motherfuckers, meaning men, and that's her experience, not just in her actual reality of being alive for 30, 40, 50 years, whatever it is, but it's actually in her DNA. There's something in her that she just needs to know she's safe and you're not going anywhere. Bro, she wants to be claimed. And if you're anxious, man, I'm glad you got here right in time. But you're not anxious. I mean, you could be. But under stress or in the past or in your current relationship that maybe is going to end recently or just did or is on the rocks, it's probably brought up more anxiety for you than past relationships. And what if by giving her that space, ready for this one? That by giving her that space, she actually feels disconnected and that you don't care. So she said she didn't want to talk for 2 weeks, which you thought meant she didn't want to talk for 2 weeks. And that could be true. I don't know your particular situation, but what at least a part of her was longing for is to go, oh, is he going to follow me? Is he going to love me even though I'm crazy and I'm freaked out? And she can be so clogged up, she may not even have the capacity to realize. It's almost like a hose. You know, it doesn't work if it has a kink in it. Imagine if you have 18 different mental, emotional, ancestral kinks in your hose, and you're wondering why love, connection, and energy doesn't just flow. She wants to be claimed. And I'll say it again, she actually wants to be possessed. To say, honey, I'm not going anywhere. Every part of you is mine. Your body, your mind, your heart, your spirit. She wants all of it. She wants to know you want all of it. And she will fuck with you and shit test you and kick you in the balls again and again. And then at a certain point, she'll go, oh, this is actually real. He's not going anywhere. Okay, I like this. But then she'll fuck with you again later. She wants to be claimed. She wants to know that you're not going anywhere. And you might think, well, we had this breakup and we got back together and I did this she wants to be claimed thing I saw in some YouTube video and I Googled some more stuff and I did it for 2 months. But then she kept coming at me. Women's experience for about 30 some, maybe 40 years is constant, never-ending change. There is a cycle. It is 28 days, but it's kind of not. Because if you go, okay, you have your period, okay, you have your period, that's actually not how it works. It is how it works, but it's not how it works. There are cycles within the cycle. You can pick the main 4. So you could say that she has at least 4 different personalities based on her hormones. Imagine if you were drunk on Tuesday. Again, this is me trying to help you make sense of it. I'm not saying this is how it is. I have male hormones. I'm kind of the same all the time. But imagine if you were drinking vodka on Tuesday, and then on Friday you're on mushrooms, and then on Tuesday or Wednesday the next week you're on MDMA. It's not exactly like that, but the level of fluctuation is very different. So women's desire for safety, women's desire for certainty, women's desire for consistency, they're kind of all the same flavor of ice cream there, is very different as it relates to a man. So when she knows, wow, this guy, he's got it. He's always good to drive the car of life, the car of our relationship. And she wants to be claimed. She wants to know you're there no matter what. And even if a woman is quote unquote had trauma or not, which all of us had, she's going to test you. I can think back to some tests when I was in them and I didn't see them as tests and I totally failed. Every woman tests. And from my experience, even women that say they're so spiritually evolved and they don't test, they just test differently. They all test. So I'll close with this. Guy will say, I want a woman to submit to me, which oftentimes is kind of BS. And oftentimes the reality is, and it's unfortunate to hear, gentlemen, we don't qualify. Our leadership, our consistency, our track record, it's not worthy. Doesn't mean we're not a good guy. Doesn't mean us as our human beingness is not worthy. But our data, our track record, we haven't shown up. And I invite you to consider submission is kind of like, well, I make X amount a month. You just have to do what I say and, get in the kitchen and we should be having sex this often. So let's call that submission. And that can, I wouldn't say it can work. You have polarity and it can be kind of a transactional agreement. When she sees that you've shown up consistently, she's known you for 6 months. She's like, God, this guy, he's like Steph, just like this guy's like Steph Curry. He's gonna shoot the 3, right? That she can I'm not saying 6 months is an arbitrary amount of time, but she can let go and go, wow, there is a guy out there I can trust. I didn't know it was true. I've heard, I've read about it on the internet. I've known one female friend that has it, but I can actually feel safe. This guy does what he says he's going to do, and I can let go. Bro, I'm just feeling hot about this video tonight. She really wants to be claimed. But more importantly than that, before you can claim her, before she'll surrender, she needs to know she's really, really, really safe. And tonight we just kind of started to cover the physical safety. We'll get more into physical safety, emotional safety, mental safety, decision-making safety, which has a lot to do with money and kids, and then resource safety. Much more coming. Thank you for tuning in, gents.